A literary masterpiece that swept the globe, sold over 10 million copies, translated into over 40 languages, and won the Pulitzer Prize. Have you read Gone with the Wind? It's more than a novel, it's a mirror reflecting humanity and its era, probing how we hold on to faith and hope in turbulent times. Why does it still captivate hearts across a century? Let's step into the world of Margaret Mitchell's words and uncover its secrets. Before diving into Gone with the Wind, let's meet its creator, Margaret Mitchell. Born in 1900 in Atlanta, Georgia, to a middle-class family, her father was a lawyer and her mother an advocate for women's education. As a child, she was enthralled by her grandparents' tales of the Civil War, sparking her fascination with Southern history. In an interview with the Atlanta Journal, she recalled, "I'd sit on my grandmother's lap, listening to stories of Atlanta in flames. Those tales took root in my heart." This closeness to history nurtured the inspiration for Gone with the Wind. Mitchell wasn't a professional writer. She attended Smith College but dropped out after her mother's death. In the 1920s, she became a reporter for the Atlanta Journal, covering social news with keen insights and vivid prose. In 1926, an ankle injury confined her at home, where her husband, John Marsh, encouraged her to try writing a novel. Over a decade, in their apartment's cramped kitchen, she typed Gone with the Wind on an old typewriter, working sporadically. She once quipped, "I never planned to publish it, just wanted to tell a story about survival." The novel's creation was shaped by Southern literary traditions, especially Thomas Wolfe's Look Homeward, Angel, whose rich regional depictions inspired Mitchell's portrayal of Tara Plantation. She also studied historical records like Civil War soldiers' letters and archives of Atlanta's burning, ensuring factual detail. Published in 1936, Gone with the Wind became an instant bestseller, winning the Pulitzer Prize in 1937 and selling millions worldwide. Critic Edmund Wilson praised Mitchell, with a woman's perspective, gave history flesh and blood, a milestone in Southern literature. Writing Gone with the Wind was no easy feat. Mitchell faced gender bias, with publishers doubting a woman could write a war epic, and she balanced Southern nostalgia for the Old South with critiques of slavery. Her persistence stemmed from a pursuit of truth. In a letter to a friend, she wrote, "I don't want to glorify the past, only to show its complexity." This approach makes Gone with the Wind not just a novel but a meditation on humanity and history. Mitchell's writing process was fraught with challenges. She revised the manuscript multiple times, even hesitating over the ending until the last moment. In her diary, she wrote, "What is Scarlett's tomorrow? I don't know, but I believe she'll find it." This openness gave the novel timeless vitality. She also faced family pressure, as some relatives felt the book exposed the South's wounds, but Mitchell believed literature's duty was to confront truth. Her courage and talent forged this enduring masterpiece. Gone with the Wind centers on Scarlett O'Hara, chronicling her growth and struggles through the Civil War and Reconstruction. Below, we'll explore key characters and plotlines, dissecting the novel's intellectual depth and artistic allure, delving into its complex characters and historical imprints. Scarlett O'Hara is the soul of Gone with the Wind. From a pampered Southern belle, she grows into a resilient woman protecting her family amid war. The novel opens, "Scarlett O'Hara was not beautiful, but men seldom realized it." This line reveals her allure, not looks, but willpower and wit. Scarlett's growth is fraught with contradictions. She's selfish and vain, making moral compromises like marrying Frank for money, yet she's brave and decisive, aiding Melanie's childbirth during Atlanta's siege and rebuilding Tara. Scarlett's choices spark debate. Literary critic Anne Edwards notes, "Scarlett is an anti-hero. Her selfishness and tenacity coexist, reflecting the complexity of humanity in crises." For instance, during the Civil War, Mary Chestnut's diary detailed Southern women shouldering family burdens, mirroring Scarlett's arc. Her resilience is both a personal triumph and a portrait of women in that era. Scarlett's love story weaves through the novel. She obsesses over Ashley but overlooks Rhett's devotion, only realizing her mistake after losing everything. Mitchell writes, "She loved a fictional Ashley she created, not the real man." This not only exposes Scarlett's blind spot but also symbolizes the South's clinging to old ideals. Scarlett's complexity shines in her business savvy. Post-war, she runs a lumber business, showcasing women's economic potential. Historian Barbara Fields notes that during Reconstruction, many Southern women sustained families through trade, echoing Scarlett's entrepreneurial spirit. Her success stems from adapting to her environment. Through Scarlett, Mitchell explores women's reinvention in crises, a bold perspective for its time. Butler is Scarlett's mirror. Witty and pragmatic, he profits as a block runner during the war, always clear-eyed. His love for Scarlett is deep yet restrained, aiding her in crises. The novel describes, Rhett was like a lone wolf, always observing from the crowd's edge. This captures his solitude and insight. Rhett's character may draw from Atlanta merchants Mitchell interviewed, who seized Reconstruction opportunities. Historian James McPherson notes that many Southerners rebuilt wealth through trade post-war, reflected in Rhett's story. His defiance mocks Southern traditions, rejecting sacrifice for the lost cause, embodying a philosophy of reason and survival. Yale professor Harold Bloom calls Rhett the novel's most modern figure, his pragmatism heralding the New South. His dynamic with Scarlett crackles their banter is both romantic sparring and intellectual dueling. Rhett isn't heartless. Joining the Confederate Army late in the war shows loyalty to his homeland, and his doting on daughter Bonnie reveals hidden tenderness. Through Rhett, Mitchell probes the balance of reason and emotion. His departure is both a personal tragedy and a symbol of the Old South's rift with new realities. Rhett's complexity makes him one of literature's most vivid characters. Melanie Wilkes is Scarlett's foil. Gentle and kind, she embodies the South's moral ideals. Even in chaos, she upholds compassion, shielding Scarlett from gossip. Mitchell writes, Melanie's heart was like a deep well, forever clear. Her character echoes Southern women like Martha Washington, who organized wartime aids, as historical records show. Melanie's strength is quiet, her selflessness holding her family together despite frail health. Ashley Wilkes personifies the Old South. Elegant and idealistic, he's ill-suited to post-war realities. His vague feelings for Scarlett led to indecision, yet he honors his marriage. Ashley's disillusionment mirrors the fall of Southern aristocracy, as historian Eugene Genovese notes, Reconstruction's economic collapse left planters like Ashley adrift. Melanie and Ashley's contrast highlights the clash of ideals and reality. Their imperfect marriage symbolizes the South's last stand. Melanie's death is a turning point. Her loss devastates Scarlett's support and shatters Ashley. Through this, Mitchell explores the fragility of moral anchors in turbulent times. Scholar Mary Johnson comments, Melanie is the novel's moral beacon. Her death marks the Old South's end. Melanie and Ashley's fates reflect the era's relentless changes. Gone with the Wind spans 1861 to 1873, from the Civil War's outbreak to Reconstruction. It begins with Scarlett dreaming of marrying Ashley in Tara's opulence, only to lose everything to war. She endures Atlanta's burning, rebuilds Tara, faces 2 failed marriages, and after losing Rhett, resolves to face tomorrow. Mitchell's vivid prose captures war's brutality, as in Atlanta's siege, the flames devoured the city, and Scarlett's heart was reborn in the blaze. The plot's climax is Scarlett and Rhett's fraught romance. Their wartime meetings and Reconstruction partnership ended in misunderstandings and tragedies. The novel closes, Tomorrow is another day. This is Scarlett's manifesto and the South's rebirth. The New York Times called it, historical tapestry, both a personal epic and an era's portrait. Mitchell's multi-threaded narrative weaves personal fates with history's tide, showcasing literature's grandeur. Mitchell excels at evoking the era through details. Tara's red earth symbolizes the South's roots. Atlanta's rebuilding mirrors the pain of transition. She writes, land is the only thing that lasts, own it, and you have roots. This imagery shapes Scarlett's resolve and echoes Southerners' love for their land. Historian David Blight notes that post-war Southern families rebuilt around land, grounding Tara's symbolism in history. The novel's supporting characters add depth. Mammy, the black servant, guards Scarlett with wisdom and loyalty, reflecting complex ties under slavery. Historian Ira Berlin notes that many freed Black people stayed with former owners during Reconstruction, mirrored in Mammy's role. Scarlett's sisters Sulin and Wilbentine represent ordinary Southerners, rebuilding through hard work, embodying grassroots resilience. Villains like Jonas Wilkerson, a post-war profiteer, expose Reconstruction's corruption. Historical records show Southern disdain for carpetbaggers reflected in Jonas' character. Through these figures, Mitchell paints a panoramic social landscape, making Gone with the Wind a sweeping epic. The novel's allure lies not just in characters and plot but in its resonance with the Civil War and Reconstruction. Below, we explore its historical significance through the lenses of history, women's roles, social change, race, and global impact. Gone with the Wind is set against the 1861–1865 Civil War, when America split over slavery. The South's agrarian economy relied on slavery, while the North pushed industrialization and abolition. The war claimed 600,000 lives, with Atlanta razed by Union forces. Through Scarlett's eyes, Mitchell shows the South's collapse. She writes, "War was a storm that tore our world apart." Historian Shelby Foote documented Atlanta residents' suffering, with families like Scarlett's displaced, mirroring real accounts. Mitchell drew from family stories and archives, like soldiers' letters, blending literary craft with historical truth. The war's trauma was material and spiritual, with Scarlett's resilience reflecting Southern survival. In the 1864 Battle of Atlanta, civilians like Mary Hollis protected homes, their diaries echoing Scarlett's ordeal. The war reshaped society. The plantation economy crumbled with slavery's end, forcing aristocrats to redefine themselves. Mitchell captures this through Ashley's aimlessness. Historian Kenneth Stamp notes, "The war destroyed the South's old order but birthed new possibilities." Gone with the Wind chronicles this shift literarily. The novel's women defy 19th-century gender norms. Scarlett evolves from dependence to running Terra, showcasing female strength. Historian Catherine Clinton records that during the war, Southern women like Mary Boykin Miller managed plantations, paralleling Scarlett's journey. Melanie embodies traditional female strength, her compassion sustaining family and community. Through these women, Mitchell explores diverse responses to crises. Feminist scholar Elaine Showalter says, "Gone with the Wind's women are not just victims but shepherds of history." In the 1860s, women like Clara Barton founded wartime nursing, paving the way for suffrage, reflected in Scarlett and Melanie's agency. Women's Reconstruction-era struggles stand out. Scarlett's lumber business reflects real women's economic roles. In the 1870s, Atlanta women like Isabel Carter ran shops to revive family fortunes, resonating with Scarlett's drive. Mitchell's prose empowers them, urging readers to reflect on gender equality's arc. The novel's depiction of slavery is contentious. It portrays plantation opulence alongside slavery's cruelty, like Prissy's loyalty and struggles at Terra. Mitchell doesn't directly condemn slavery but hints at its flaws through Rhett's cynicism and Scarlett's reflections. Historian Eric Foner notes, Reconstruction's abolition upended the South's economy, with freed Black people and old elites clashing. Reconstruction policies like the Emancipation Proclamation granted Black freedom but not equality. Scarlett and Rhett's profiteering reflects the New South's commercial spirit. In 2020, the George Floyd protests sparked reevaluations of Gone with the Wind, with its film briefly pulled by HBO Max, igniting debate. Mitchell's text reminds us that history's divides linger. The novel's marginal Black characters reflect the era's white Southern lens. The novel's racial portrayals are its most debated aspects. Black characters like Mammy and Prissy appear as loyal servants, lacking agency. This stems from Mitchell's era-bound perspective. Historian John Hope Franklin notes, post-war Southern literature often romanticized slavery, glossing over its brutality. Yet Mitchell hints at slavery's cruelty, like Prissy's wartime fear. In 2021, Confederate statue removals in the South echoed debates over Gone with the Wind's lost cause narrative, criticized for downplaying slavery's evils. Mitchell's text, through Rhett's skepticism, offers room for reflection. The novel states, Rhett never bought the South's myths, he believed only facts. This invites readers to question history critically. Race issues extend to freed Black people's post-war plight. The novel shows their discrimination and violence, echoing historical Black codes. Mitchell subtly reveals white bias through Scarlett's indifference, making the novel both a product and critique of its time. Gone with the Wind transcends America, resonating globally with themes of war, rebuilding, and resilience. Its narrative of struggle parallels 1942's China, where writer Hao Hong's Hulon River depicted wartime survival, akin to Scarlett's journey. Peking University professor Yan Jian says, Gone with the Wind's universality lies in capturing human resilience and hope in crises. Translated into many languages, its 1999 film won 8 Oscars, making Scarlett a cultural icon. British critic Martin Priestman calls it an epic of loss and rebirth, fitting any society in transition. In 2022, Ukrainian women like Olga Kovalenko organized aid amid war, echoing Scarlett's grit. The novel's story touches every heart facing adversity. Its global influence extends to literary exchanges. Chinese writer Hang Eiling, inspired by Gone with the Wind, explored love and survival in wartime and love in a fallen city. Scholar Wang Haoming notes, Gone with the Wind offered Chinese literature a model for female narratives. This cross-cultural resonance makes it a world literary treasure. Gone with the Wind is more than a historical novel, it's a philosophical fable about humanity and fate. It poses 4 core questions: the resilience of survival, the complexity of humanity, the cycle of history, and the eternity of hope. First, survival's resilience is the novel's heart. Scarlett's vows, tomorrow is another day, persists despite losing home, family, and love. This echoes Nietzsche's will to life, humanity finds reasons to endure. In 2020, nurses like Emily Carter in New York battled COVID-19, embodying this grit. Mitchell's words inspire unyielding resolve in adversity. Second, human complexity runs throughout. Scarlett's selfishness and strength, Rhett's rebellion and tenderness, Melanie's kindness and wisdom show humanity's facets. Mitchell writes, humanity is like the wind, ever-changing, yet constant. This aligns with Jung's view, we are all bundles of contradictions. In 2023, activist Greta Thunberg, both climate hero and polarizing figure, mirrors Scarlett's complexity. Gone with the Wind teaches us to embrace human diversity. Third, history's cycles are a subtle metaphor. The South's rise and fall mirrors civilization's ebbs, with Scarlett's rebirth symbolizing renewal. Historian Arnold Toynbee said, civilizations grow through challenges, reshaping after collapse. The novel suggests history's lessons guide the future. The 2021 Unclimate Conference's call for cooperation echoes the novel's themes of collective effort. Mitchell's text urges wise responses to history's tides. Fourth, hope's eternity is the novel's soul. Scarlett's tomorrow is a personal and universal creed. Tara's red earth symbolizes hope's endurance. In 2024, the Mandela Foundation's Global Peace Project carried forward Mandela's hopes from prisoner to president. The novel's ending inspires us, no matter the storm, hope drives us forward. Gone with the Wind is an epic of war and a hymn to the heart. Margaret Mitchell paints a lost era while igniting timeless hope. In our uncertain world, Scarlett's story reminds us, no matter how the wind blows, tomorrow awaits. As the novel closes, she had Tara, and she had tomorrow. Let's draw strength from Gone with the Wind, face challenges with resilience, write our future with wisdom, and guard our flame of hope. Mitchell's words don't just belong to the 19th century South, they belong to every dreamer, now and forever.